drive rush button plus. Time to guess.
What's up, Beans, and welcome back to Ctrl-Alt-Fight, the perfect place to catch up on a whole week's news, and what a week we've had. From 2 new character reveals for Tekken 8, DLC for JoJo All-Star Battle, a complete arcade stick wheelchair setup for Evo Japan, first reviews of the new Kwamba Titan, and today's top story, the entire fighting game scene is having a meltdown because now Zangief can run. It's all very scary, so let's jump straight in with not 1 but 2 new character reveals for the upcoming Tekken 8. First up is Martial Law, who is so tense in this gameplay trailer he needs to chill out with a glass of... Somehow I feel like the name being a pun from the word martial law hasn't really held up over the years, but I'm sure that longtime fans will be happy to see the legendary dragon enter, or return, rather. Shame his voice won't be done by the producer, Harada, who was apparently voice acting for Law all the way up to Tekken 6. We also got a second Tekken trailer this week as the excitement for Evo Japan continues to build, this time for another returning favorite, King. Apparently King was multiple different characters, with new versions rising up when previous Kings died. For Tekken 8, the wrestler is back, and it feels like being caught in an endless guessing game of chain throws is the theme of this week, with Zangief news I'll also be talking about. Moreover, I'm just impressed at this Jaguar's human costume. When animals cosplay as humans, what are they called? Furries? Humanies? Either way, kinda cool how his blue and yellow outfit now incorporates grey and black to match Lil Majin's jersey. Speaking of command grabs that never end, it's time for today's top story. This week we felt the collective dread of the entire fighting game community as it became clear from new gameplay footage that Zangief is going to be terrifying in a whole new way. While we still haven't seen evidence of green hands returning for Street Fighter 6, we did see plenty of green splashes in this developer match, showing how Zangief can use the new game mechanic called Drive Rush. This way he can close the gap on zoners, and after command grabs like spinning pile driver which sent his opponent flying, he can even run up for continued pressure when they wake up. Needless to say, top players are less than enthused.
You see the setup? That was plus. First of all, he said, oh, drive rush button plus. Time to guess.
Oh my goodness, this is exactly right there. When you see this move, that's a guess. Like, come on, why I gotta deal with that?
はい、ドライブラッシュからの投げ。
じゃんけんだけで決められるって何なのこれ。それってゲームの攻略じゃないじゃん。だから投げキャラが嫌いです。
Now yes, Zangief does look like he'll be quite annoying to deal with, but with all the effort Capcom is putting in to make Street Fighter 6 a game that's fun for new players, I somehow doubt they'll let Zangief be so strong that he'll feel oppressive, at least I hope. I think the single most frustrating thing as a new player in a fighting game is feeling that there's literally nothing you can do, but with parries, drive impact and drive reversal, there should be plenty in the way of defensive options. Speaking of oppressive characters, look who found his way into this retro Street Fighter 2 ad for Roto Z. That's right, it's your favorite bland man, Luke. Unfortunately, he's not in the match because I hate watching Luke and I hate playing against his dumb as hell V-trigger, which is basically a laser beam. Did I go off topic? Sorry, anyway, for some reason they put the future of Street Fighter in this classic Street Fighter 2 themed ad, which is actually really funny because they reanimated the sprites to turn classic moves into moves where they dramatically put eye drops in their eyes. If you're wondering where you've seen the name Roto Z before, it's from the jersey Tokido wore after leaving Echo Fox. This week we got a trailer for a new character, Keicho Nijimura in JoJo All-Star Battle R. I haven't really had a chance to try the game, but it looks pretty over the top, and this character apparently calls the cast of Toy Story to back him up, which is cool, so look forward to his release on Friday. Retro Fighters just announced a gamepad for OG Xbox that also works on Switch and PC called the Xbox Wireless Hunter Gamepad. Although it may not be designed specifically for fighting games, it is cool to see more companies jumping on board with Hall effect sensors for the analog sticks, which should make them resistant to drifting over time. Now it's time for OMG, a hit tweet. At 103,000 views, it's Jenny demonstrating their wheelchair setup for competing in Street Fighter 5 at Evo Japan next weekend. Apparently their previous setup used a PC and a keyboard, but to match the Evo regulations and the PS4 setups, a new wheelchair configuration was required. I wasn't previously aware of their company known as ePara, which apparently handles lots of mobility-related esports things, but what really impressed me was the way that Jenny's controlling a pretty standard-looking arcade stick using just their mouth. It looks like they've replaced the ball top with something more like a concave bat top to make it work. I'm all about innovative controllers on this channel, so I absolutely can't wait to see them playing at Evo Japan with this setup. Now, in a close second place for hit tweet this week, it's this video posted by Julie Heckman. I can't remember the full story, but about 6 months ago, I believe she began playing Street Fighter V and has been tracking her progress through social media. This video, with 90,000 views currently, is really interesting as a discussion topic, because first the opponent with a 9-win streak taunts her, then Julie hands the controller to her Grandmaster rank husband, who wins the match for her. On the one hand, it feels like justice was served because strong players insulting lower level players is something that definitely makes fighting games hard for new and casual players just starting out. Hell, it probably ruins the day even for seasoned players who finally meet their match. But on the other hand, it also demonstrated how tempting it is for a player to give in to a cheap power trip. If the rules of engagement are to use any tool in the game to win, then the Ryu player didn't really do anything wrong. They just played the mind game and broke their opponent. It's just an unfortunate truth that taunting your opponent is disrespectful and likely to cause inexperienced players to give up on playing entirely. This is where community becomes so important. Even if Capcom removed things like taunts from the game, there's no real way to prevent players from disrespecting each other, so community is really key to helping players build the right mental attitude to growing stronger after an experience like this. Julie here chose to give in to the power trip of handing the controller to a stronger player. Maybe she did it for the theater of being on stream when it happened, but possibly at the cost of losing the real battle. Losing control of the fight to emotion, giving into the power trip, the guilt of the dishonesty of breaking the rules of engagement, the missed chance to turn a frustrating match into a learning opportunity. But then again, maybe she's a hero for putting a disrespectful player in their place and putting it on public display. I'm super curious to know what you think, so leave a comment down below. Time to rush down the rest of the news. The meme that became an all-stick arcade stick with 3 sticks instead of a stick and buttons is demonstrated here by Joseph, or is it Joseph? Correct my pronunciation below. Since each lever is operated by 4 switches, I assume they're mapped to 4 buttons each for a total of 8 action buttons. I really hope this gets used to win a tournament soon. If you want Evo Japan exclusive merch, be sure to look for one of these Victrix giant purple bags. They'll also apparently have their laser engraving machine on site this year. Evo Japan also announced a new sponsor called Flash Party, which actually involves less partying and less nudity than you might expect. It appears to be a fairly competent looking Smash clone which you can play on your smartphone, but I've never really enjoyed playing fighting games on my phone, so I'll be curious to see how this one plays. If you're planning to be in Tokyo for Evo Japan, you might want to check out a few local events. I don't have a list of them all, but you'll definitely want to check out Shot Bar Lucy and Red Bull Gaming Sphere. They usually have their schedules up on Twitter, and if you're looking for the Tatakai Tuesday event that Giuna does, that's on Tuesdays at Red Bull. And to wrap things up, let's take a look at some of the coolest controllers on display this week. Jeremy posted this work in progress for a stick with modular components where the buttons can actually be placed at any angle you want to fit your wrist. Certainly fits in with the recent Ergo controller trend. The footsie case we talked about last week that expands the footprint of the Snackbox Micro is now available as a free download on GitHub, so you can 3D print it yourself. And last but not least, it looks like review units are being sent out for the new Kwanba arcade sticks. Jabali, founder of Tournament CEO, has a first look at the Titan and the new drone sticks on his YouTube channel. Hopefully Kwanba will send me one for review. Hopefully. Please. Kwanba. Onegai. Well, that's all for this week. Subscribe if you found this useful, comment with why you're afraid of Zangief, and like the video if you think Luke is dumb. If you're excited about Evo Japan and want to know what it's like, then here's my vlog. Definitely check it out next. That's all for now, and I'll see you next week for another episode of Ctrl-Alt-Fight.